Always some context.
There, and it got us arguing too.
Yeah, because you have, in a good discussion, you have to have a back and forth.
Yeah, you gotta go, yeah, you're fucking stupid. Let me tell you why.
Okay, Lefty. I mean...
Wait, this is the new one. I have to go 30 seconds, I think, without swearing. I think I made it. I don't know.
Starting now.
Right. 1:30 in the afternoon, I said, fuck it.
So what do we talk about if we can't curse?
I don't know.
Nothing's interesting without sentence and answers.
Yeah, that's like punctuation for me. Otherwise, everything's a run-on sentence and nothing makes sense.
You know, most people use a period at the end of the sentence. Well, I use a period once a month to say fuck.
What's up, everybody? With a real what's up, everybody.
That's good cold.
Yeah.
It's good on the chill. Hell yeah.
Oh.
Got some good news.
Yeah?
I went to Syracuse today.
Why is that good news?
Because the road test went phenomenal.
You have your license finally.
Yes.
He's 40 years old and he finally did it. Good for you, man.
The guy who gave me the road test was telling me that, because I asked him, I'm like, hey, look, I'm not trying to rush the process, but, you know, Syracuse is like an hour and a half away from me. So
listen, transitioning, I know, takes a while. Get on with your story, son.
If I can get to do all the things I need to do today in one shot, it would save me driving out every weekend for the next 3 weeks. He goes, well, as long as you do good on the road test, we'll consider you we'll put you through to the drug screening. But if you don't do good on the road test, we won't even move you forward. We might have to talk about it a little bit more. I'm like, okay, not a problem. Dude, I didn't even get halfway through my road test. He pulls his phone out, kicks his feet up, and starts texting and shit. I was like, all right, you want to just at least tell me where to go? He's like, oh, don't worry, I got you. Looks up in a few minutes. Text, looks up. He's a good dude, though. Good dude. But he was like, all right, man, if you leave, like, I know you want to stay and talk, but I got some good news. I want to push you through. Let's go. Let's get you to your drug screening. Here's the address. Go to your drug screening. Go get your TWIC card.
Out of Syracuse?
Yeah.
Isn't that like the same distance?
To what?
You talking about work?
No. Syracuse is further. Syracuse, to go to... No.
So
Hold on.
Okay, we're in the middle of the story. We're still in the middle of the story, folks.
Syracuse is like the home terminal.
Right.
But my hub will be based
that's right, yeah.
Will be based out of Johnstown.
Right. All right, there we go. That makes more sense.
Yes.
I remember now from the last time. Okay.
Yes.
I was going to say, wait a minute. Wasn't the point to get closer to home?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, the point of me saying, hey, I'd rather not come to Syracuse 3 weekends in a row if we could do it all in one day. He goes, well, that depends on how good you do. Apparently, I did good enough. Because he's like, all right, park it, we're going to do this.
Wait a minute, full stop. Park it, we're going to do this. How'd you pass this again?
Well,
why did you really cut the rest of that beard off? Was there something stuck in it? You know, when we were kids, you get gum stuck in your hair and you had to cut it off? What was in your...
I tried to... Listen, it's not my fault.
What was in your beard?
I tried to put dreadlocks in them so I would look cool. And he said I looked retarded.
It said the white bead. You had the white beads in it, didn't you? They're crunchy.
No. Apparently it's sacrilegious if you break apart a rosary and try to put the village beads and say, pray on this.
Speaking of, you see the thing that came out? Like 216,000 cases in like the last... I don't know, it was like 20 years or something with the Catholic Church.
Again?
France.
Again?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, sorry.
200. It's like 213 or 216,000. I didn't put it in here because I just saw it. I'm like, what? What the fuck? What's going on over there? But I am a firm believer, whatever. The Catholic religion is like a cult to me. Like, it's very cultish. Like,
adrenochrome all over.
You have to go through people to go to a higher... Like, that's... I'm very much against that one. Like, no, come to me, son. Pray to me.
Come for me, son. Come to me, son.
I will make sure you get where I need you. Where you need to go. Like, I don't know. It's very culty to me.
No, but yeah, so... Dude, he's like... I want you, like, on the team. Like, you'd be a great asset.
Are we still talking about the Catholic Church? We talking about trucking? Okay.
Trucking. I did learn something different than what I had researched and found out.
Right.
I could be up to 117,000 pounds fully loaded.
That's a weight problem, man.
Fuck, top that in my 600
I could be
pound life.
117,000 pounds and still pass the physical.
Top that in my 600 pound life. Got about 50 of your episodes put together, and I still outweigh you. No. Fully loaded truck and trailer, I could be up to 117,000.
Have you seen the video compilation of like the fat influencers, the fat body positivity influencers talking about?
Nah, I don't watch.
It's like it's some woman doing a voiceover talking about like this.
Oh God, Drew.
This fad of like these fat body positivity influencers.
Yeah.
Eating all, and they eat like on TikTok, and they just watch them eat like 16 bowls of ramen noodle soup. And all this
the mukbangs.
Right. So you see all this, and then like right after they're talking, it flashes like to the next scene. It's a news clipping or whatever of this influencer dead at 33, this influencer dead at 29, this influencer dead at 37, and it's all those influencers, and they're just talking about how there's this weird epidemic of saying, "Oh, this is healthy." It's like, man, no, it's not in the least.
Well, like this one. Do you ever see that fat influencer?
Yes, I have.
Hi, I'm Kiko. I'm 23.
We've all seen this.
And I also bartend.
Isn't that a guy?
Yeah.
Pretty sure it is. Yeah.
Oh God. That's so low.
Ika Kowaki Chewbacca. Ho ho ho. Jeez.
Alwizi Bako Chukatika. I don't know. I'm not good at speaking
Huttonese.
Huttonese. I knew I was in it. I said it in my head, but my mind said, "Stop it, Hut." I'm like, okay. Yeah, dude, I'm fucking stoked.
I can't even see. So when are you gonna start that?
That depends. My drug screening has to come back. Once that comes back, my adjudication period could be up to 60 days.
The screening results say you're good and everything, but you have a large influx of smelling salts in your...
Yeah. How else do you think I stay awake after driving 16 hours straight?
Yeah, this is the same shit that he did to me, allegedly.
What did I do to you? Oh, I didn't freaking... Yeah, fuck you. I didn't give you guys drinks. Where's the proof? Where's the episode?
I don't know.
Exactly. He's going to tell everybody I kept sipping them drinks.
If we never... Wait, no, we did record that because I remember watching it.
Yeah. And the episode, where is it, buddy? You watched it?
Must be on Rumble.
Yeah. Somehow, some way, this episode disappeared.
It was on Rumble before we were even on Rumble. I don't know what happened to it. And I don't know where... What was I was even looking at?
We'll get some of that in the truck. It makes my eyes smell funny.
Help you live what? Your future?
No, but yeah. So once the drug screen,
Wow, that brought back the no but
there
it is. BBC French church abuse. 216,000 children were victims of the clergy.
It's amazing how clergy and orgy end the same.
Yeah,
Usually with a lot of young people crying in their pillow.
I was gonna say with a bunch of sadness.
With a bunch of people being called father or daddy, and a bunch of young people crying to
Okay.
sleep.
I think this is just a continuation thing. This is from 1950. The head of the inquiry said that at least 2,900 to 3,200 abusers and accused the church of showing cruel indifference towards the victims.
Do you know?
Well, yeah, the church didn't be like, well, I didn't do that, shithead.
Do you remember that episode of South Park where they mocked it?
I mean, who hasn't mocked it?
Well, South Park, the one Catholic father, the Catholic priest from South Park, goes to the Vatican
Right.
to try to clear the air and comes.
Oh, yeah, and he's like
there's
oh,
the
this is normal. Like,
It's
didn't they? Like,
what do we do to get these children to stop saying
Yeah,
things?
I do remember
well,
that.
we shouldn't be. It's like, we shouldn't. Yeah, we shouldn't. Yeah. So we shouldn't let them tell anybody. No, we shouldn't be doing this. Like the South Park Catholic.
the South of Park.
The
We are really Russian.
The South Park Catholic priest was the only one apparently in the Catholic Church
I do
in that
remember
episode who didn't
that
bless
was
children.
from like 20 years ago.
Yeah. Well, I wonder, what would you think? What would you say if actually in these closed door meetings that they have to have, they actually, we really should find a way to keep these kids better quiet. I mean, this is part of the practice.
And we never see those people again. The ones that bring that up, anyway.
No, they're seriously. Like you want to, because of course behind closed doors where there's no cameras, people are gonna say whatever they fucking want.
Mm-hmm. The inquiry found the number of children abused in France could rise to 330,000 when taking into account abuses committed by lay members of the church, such as teachers in Catholic schools. So they have like their scouts out in the world. Be like, this one's fresh. Send them to the Vatican.
Which one of you can keep the best secret?
You can see the library if you go to the Vatican.
The deep down library, the catacombs.
Oh.
You, the catacombs. I mean catacombs.
I'll go. I'll bite the bullet. I'll draw the short straw if I can see the catacombs. No, not the catacombs. I want to see the library. The Vatican. I want full access to the Vatican library.
Never gonna happen.
I know.
I don't even think the Pope has access to it anymore.
But I'll be an altar boy if I can get. Yeah, whatever.
Altar boy? Oh, maybe from the waist up.
I worked at Golub. I'll be fine.
Waist down? Altar horse.
Yes.
It's huge. And you wonder why she walks funny. All I can think about. Hold on. You're good with this one. You're better than me when it comes to this shit. What was that movie where these guys end up getting into like a horse costume and a horse ends up trying to mate them, and then the one bad guy, he's walking with a gun like, he's walking all funny and shit.
Oh.
It's a comedy movie. You know what scene I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yes, you do. I
It was
knew
like
you.
from the early 2000s, wasn't it?
Maybe early 90s. Hold on. Movie with. Hold on.
Where horse
Comedy.
costume gets
Movie where
what? Graped
guy
fruit
in horse
costume gets mounted.
costume gets mounted.
Why do I feel like that was actually, if it was in the 90s, that would have been like a family Jonathan Taylor Thomas comedy? Because that was there was a lot of, I guess, innuendos and I think I vaguely remember what you're talking about, but as far as like what it was, I don't know. Might be one of those things, as soon as you say it, we're both like, yeah. Or it's a movie that's like, no, I've never heard of that, but I remember the scene. I don't know why.
No.
No. Oh, yeah, Happy Passover week or whatever.
Happy Passover.
Yeah, Passover.
This is saying Monty Python and the Quest of the Holy Grail.
No.
No, I was going to say that's definitely not it.
That I know for sure it's not. There wasn't even a horse costume. There was like the Trojan rabbit that got launched back at him. Sir Bedivere, Sir Lancelot, or whoever, and myself jump out of the rabbit. Bravely brave Sir Robin rode forth from Camelot. He was not afraid to die, oh brave Sir Robin. Nothing. It was wiped from the face of the internet.
I'll find it.
The movie no longer exists.
I will find it.
It no longer exists. Like the dire wolf. Just
Which is
kidding!
Yeah.
We're going into Jurassic Park. Jurassic World, or whatever the fuck we're going to do now. They brought back the dire wolf. Have you seen the size of the dire wolf?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not Hollywood size, because that's fucking enormous. But the actual size, which that in and of itself, I had to explain to my daughter how big it was. I was like, well, if I stand up, and the wolf is standing on all fours, it comes up to about my waist, just above my waist, and it's about 6 feet long. Yep. That's a big dog. Yeah, so we're going to bring back
right
the dire
there.
wolf.
It's actually, the dire wolf was probably about chest level. Right there. There you go. Yeah, the tip of the head. If you see where the tip of the head is, it comes up almost to the chest.
Yeah. Like, it's a small horse.
Yep. Not something to fuck around with.
What was it, the Lutina on Elden Ring? The ones up in the consecrated snowfield that fucking shoot arrows at you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now they're coming back, too. God. Sons of bitches. At least they're not like the... what is it? The ancestral stomping grounds there. With those weird...
Not blazing saddles.
Minotaur things that shoot the arrows from 58 miles away.
Not the horse in the gray flannel suit. That's, no.
No, not blazing saddles.
Hot to Trot, 1988. Is this it? No.
Did you find your extinct horse? Well, a species of wolf that died out some 12,500 years ago lives again as the world's first successfully de-extincted animal, according to Dallas-based biotech company Colossal Biosciences. Colossal science. They're fucking like 58 feet fucking tall.
These scientists are huge.
Colossal scientists have created 3 dire wolf pups by using ancient DNA cloning and gene editing technology to alter the genes of a gray wolf, the prehistoric dire wolf's closest living relative. The company announced Monday. The result is essentially a hybrid species similar in appearance to its extinct forerunner. That first paragraph alone is exactly where we are in the world of Jurassic World. Where they're just altering. Well, actually, if you go all the way back to Jurassic Park, that's what they did. They just tweaked things with frogs and made hybrid dinosaurs. Look, we brought them back. And now they're transitioning themselves.
Well, whatever happened to the mammoth?
Well, that's in the pipeline, evidently.
That was farther ahead of the pipeline.
Well, that was when they first discovered that frozen mammoth with the hair and everything. And that was when they were probably still... That was only in the Dolly phase of everything. Whoa, God, we cloned the sheep, Dolly.
Yeah, I remember that.
Well, this says the dire wolf, which was the inspiration for the fearsome canine featured in the HBO series Game of Thrones, was the top predator that once roamed North America. Dire wolves were larger in size than a gray wolf. Okay. Colossal has been working toward resurrecting the mammoth, the dodo, and the Tasmanian tiger since 2021, but the company had not previously publicized its work on dire wolves. So those are still in the pipeline.
But for some reason, dire wolves had to take a leap from the back of the bus.
Probably because it was the easiest one to do of all of those. Like the mammoth.
Really?
Probably. Because all right, look at it this way. With a mammoth, that's a large fucking creature, right? And we probably know more. Now, I don't know. This is just me guesstimating. We probably know more about dogs and the canine genome than we do about any of the other things here. And it was probably easiest to connect a dire wolf to a gray wolf than it is to connect a mammoth to whatever species of elephant we use to clone the mammoth. So that might have been the easiest thing for them to do, to figure out how they're going to do everything and not have it come out like a kill me looking thing.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Compared to size, God damn it.
Right.
The African elephant, which still exists till today, was actually as big, if not slightly bigger. So
Size,
we already
yes.
have
I'm not
something.
but that doesn't necessarily have anything to do with size. There might be something else in the gene, like, fuck, that's like, it's like looking at two cars that look exactly alike. Then you pop the hood and you're like, fuck, these two things are completely fucking different. You know what I mean? Like, maybe that's something to do with it. And maybe there's just the dire wolf is close to the gray wolf. So they're like, let's just run with that now and see what we can do. And then they make one, sort of.
Sort of.
I wonder what the rejects look like. This one's got green hair and those crazy sunglasses.
My Pet Monsters.
It's a Karen. Let me talk to your supervisor.
Vote blue, vote true.
Oh, God, it's Nancy Pelosi. She got away. And then she's in politics. Oh, shit. What did you do, Colossal? What did you do?
You were right. I see, that's the thing. I don't know why they're more. So I don't understand what the big deal about the fucking dire wolf is. Nancy Pelosi, case in point, they've already fucking recreated the dodo bird. Too dumb to survive, but somehow still makes it to the top of the food chain.
Yeah, that's another one I didn't understand. It's like dodo birds. Like, yeah, but wasn't that fucking stupid? Like, why would we bring that back?
Stubby legs, flightless bird that literally had a thick skull on it. I think it had like a thick skull was its only defense.
Yeah, I don't know. I just know they were really easy to kill in Ark. You just punch them. They're just like, ah. Kind of like that yellow alien in High on Life.
The dodo bird was a large, flightless bird, typically standing around 3 feet tall and weighing between 23 and 39 pounds. They were native to the island of Mauritius in the Indian Ocean.
Here's the only thing all right. Here's where...
There's a recreation of a fossil, of a skeleton found.
Okay, so here's where I think the dodo bird would come in. If it's delicious. Because that's a big fucking turkey.
That is.
That's a big turkey. And if it's delicious, I mean, a little bit of like, seared or something, or marinated.
Deep fried. Everybody loves deep
New
fried
York
turkey.
State speedy sauce. That's a lot.
Smoke that bird.
A lot of speedy sauce right there.
Smoke that bird in more ways than one.
Yeah. That, I could understand why they're bringing the dodo bird back. And I'd be all for it. Ah, delicious. That's like sandwiches for weeks.
Oh, my God.
But the dire wolf, I'm like...
Dodo salad.
I mean,
sandwiches.
It's cute and everything. Like when you see it, it's like, oh, look, it's howling. That's nice. And then you think about it. Just anyone with any kind of...
You can't reintroduce it into the wild.
Thought, that's precisely what I'm talking about. Like, it's on a reserve right now. Like, 2,000-acre site. But that's going to fuck up the whole food chain.
Yeah, because...
Like, how's it going to...
And the dire wolf, I'm pretty sure, wasn't a pack animal.
Yeah, but what's the gray wolf isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, and they're using gray wolf. So, like, is it
It
going to be...
could.
This is the start of a fucking horror movie.
Let me double check.
Where the dire wolf is like, everything's going great, and then you have that one Cujo dire wolf that just fucking goes, you know what? Fuck this. I'm not doing this shit anymore. And goes crazy.
Oh, I was mistaken.
Okay.
Yes, dire wolves were pack animals. Like modern gray wolves, they hunted in packs.
All right, so... Okay, good. So we don't have to worry about that.
Likely ranging in size from as few as 2 to as many as 15 into a pack.
15 packs.
How many gray
Hairs
wolves are
before...
Oh my God.
What?
Gray wolves usually consist of 6 to 10.
All right.
So not only do you have a wolf that stands moderately bigger than now you have the dire wolf. So not only do you have the dire wolf, which stands considerably larger than a normal gray wolf, that ranges on average 5 more members in a pack than the gray wolf pack does.
I tell you, they're cute, though.
And there's 15 of them chewing on your fucking testicles.
At least they're cuddly. Man,
They're licky.
they get all stained blood and everything in that nice white coat. How long before like women are wearing them as coats in New York
Can't.
City? That's right, fur is murder now, like whatever.
Great. So when they overpopulate and start killing people, even warmth in the winter, fur love grows.
And then what's going to happen when they introduce
You're gonna give it the ultimate food source.
Yeah, but they're not even. Well, yeah, I guess they were.
America, North America.
Yeah,
They were most
were
native
in,
to
like,
North.
Yeah, North America, Russia, and tundra. Yeah, everywhere.
Yeah.
Well, up.
You mean to tell me North America has Canada? Canada's up there pretty high.
When are they going to bring back the Neanderthal?
We just got one out of office, and you want to bring another one back?
No, that was a zombie.
Oh. Zombies do exist.
Yeah, that was a zombie. No, we're going to bring back a Neanderthal. Because eventually what would happen, this is what would happen if they brought back Neanderthals, okay? We need people in the workforce, so we don't have to work anymore.
Until someone bitches about human rights. Probably a Karen.
But Karen Neanderthal.
I will teach you.
Neanderthal.
I will teach crack. Oh, he hit me, but it's only because he's mad about the work. Oh, God, he's raping me, but it's only because he's oppressed.
Yeah. So that's
It's like his basic instincts are coming out.
So it's because he's a man. So dizzy and weak. So what would happen is we'd bring Neanderthals back for the workforce because, well, we'll bring Neanderthals back to go in the workforce because that's what they're really good at is working, right?
Yeah.
Sure. So we bring them back, and then one of the Neanderthals, after a while, will be like, oh, not fair. You know, whatever. You look at me wide-eyed like one of them's going to see this out there. We're going to get struck down. If YouTube gives this fucking episode a strike because we're talking about Neanderthals.
Which don't exist, much like some of the crazy conspiracy theories we've talked about.
Yeah, like Eskimos.
Or, you know, because there are plenty of Eskimo men who really need answers. Fucking stupid. Till today. Full disclaimer, that still bites me.
Yeah.
That still chaps my ass. We fucking literally...
Like, TikTok's the worst of all that, but YouTube's really weird with their everything. Anyway. So yeah, then you'll get that one that fights for their rights, and then it won't be the new human Neanderthal, like, conflict. It'll just be added into everything else. It'll be one more dynamic because
Neanderthal lives matter.
It's never white against black. It's never men against women. It's some of these men and women against these men and women with blacks, and some blacks over here, and then you'll just have Neanderthals sprinkled throughout the whole
The abbreviation would be NLM, Neanderthal Lives Matter.
Yeah.
And then somebody would take it like this.
I know exactly what you're gonna say. You all thought it too. Hey, you spelled that wrong.
I wasn't using a hard R. That's offensive.
The government knows. They're watching my keystrokes. TikTok. China's watching my keystrokes.
If they're watching my keystroke, they've got a lot.
They are. It says right in their terms and conditions.
They've probably got a lot of weird questions about my search histories.
No, they don't have probably any questions. They're like, all right, we know how to cater to this guy.
And yet, I've yet to see two little people have sex in front of me. Thanks for catering, government.
Your
Fuck
algorithm. That's your phone, not real life.
Oh.
Do you even know two little peoples?
I ran into a pair yesterday.
Did you?
I mean, straight up, not even. And they were lesbians.
Did you run into them?
No, God, no.
Okay. Say they would have been in a small car. You probably went right over 'em.
All I could think about was...
It's not funny. Why are you laughing?
All I could think about, well, because they were lesbians. And attractive, too.
Does that make them short or something? Why you bring that up?
Because all I could think about was who holds... Sorry. We're getting so fucking stroked for this one. We're getting a strike for this one. Fat shaming, little people shaming.
Well, I didn't shame anybody. If they're
No,
ashamed,
that was me. I
if
shamed
they have
them.
shamed any, if they're ashamed, that's on them. Right?
No, you were talking about the fat influencers. I go, yeah, no, I don't watch those.
It's on.
They're going for it. Let's see how many more we can shame. So we've already shamed minorities. Now we're shaming little people, fat people.
I have a whiteboard checklist over here. I should put it up and be like,
We said,
weekly check.
oh, fuck.
Weekly check. Weekly check. Like how we're checking on the tariffs and how they're fucking doing. Because I finally looked into that.
Okay. Educate, because I've been hearing so much back and forth shit about this stuff.
I think, okay, so my initial, after looking into the last few days, I think the tariffs are a good thing. Reciprocal tariffs specifically. That's just, like, across the board, that's my opinion. Will it make things harder for us? Yes, it will. But
Well, that's a gimme. Hold on. That's a gimme. I don't mean to interrupt you. That's a gimme because I've said it from the beginning. If what I thought the tariffs were meant to accomplish is accurate, it's not going to be an overnight fix. It's going to be a couple of administrations before we start seeing a difference.
well, maybe not. Maybe not. Because, like, news goes so fast now. Like, it's, jeez. The one good thing about the Biden administration is things would happen and it would carry over week to week. So it'd be like, all right, that's a good topic to talk about this next show. This is like fucking day to day. I'm like, oh my God, this comes out. I'm like, shit, that would be a good topic. And then 36 hours later, you're like, that topic obsolete now because something else came out. And it's like, fuck, now we got to redo everything. So, like, there's been a couple times the last few weeks where I've done notes and then looked at them and looked at the news, looked at the notes and just cleared it and just started over. I'm like, fuck, I can't keep up with this. Case in point, luckily it wasn't as bad this week, but did it again today. So, Trump raised tariffs on China, okay?
Yeah.
Up to 125%. And that was like, oh my God, what's that going to do to America? And everyone was like, that's bad for America. Trump raising tariffs on China is bad for America. Fine. Why is China doing the same thing back to us then? Because if the concept of tariffs is bad, only bad for the country that's raising the tariffs, why the fuck would all these other countries do the same thing? So basically they're saying, yeah, you're going to kick yourself in the dick? Well, I'll fucking kick myself in the dick even harder. Like, that's fucking stupid. So you know that there's more to just raising tariffs than we're going to raise tariffs to hurt us, to prove something to you. You know there's more. Like, you don't have to understand tariffs at all, but just understanding what's going on in the world, that should be enough to make somebody go, okay, there's more than just what CNN is saying. It's like, well, raising tariffs is going to hurt us. Like, yeah, but it's going to hurt the other person more, specifically China.
Well, it's funny that you say that because there's a lot of other countries, if I've heard correctly, there's a lot of other countries who, with America, like, okay, look, let's drop them. Let's lower them down. And we're negotiating these tariffs with these other countries that we do a lot of import and export with.
Yes, by allies.
And everything's dropping.
It is.
Something somebody said, because one of my friends that I talked to, he's like, yeah, but people don't seem to realize, like, America's like one of the number one consumer countries in the world, which we are. We import a lot, and a lot of countries rely on that we buy their products.
That's the thing.
So here's the thing. Hold on. If it gets to the point where we no longer trade with China, he goes, yeah, we can't do that because they distribute so much around the whole world. They're not going to feel just America. I'm like, well, if let's say America's the number one, we're going to use stupid numbers. Hold on. If America's the number one consumer, right? Let's say it accounts for 40% of China's export consumed. Yeah, they still have the other 60%. They're going to be doing just fine. But isn't it awfully peculiar that a lot of these allies that we're working things out with and it's starting to go great with, we're dropping our tariffs, they're dropping their tariffs, everyone's lowering because we realize we need to have that good relationship. Wouldn't it be a smart tack to say, okay, well, hey, look, if you guys want to keep this going with us, we'd really appreciate it if you stop dealing with China. We might be the number one consumer, but if we work out these deals with all these other countries and everything starts working out in all of our favors, hey, look, China, guess what? You don't want to deal with us? You're not dealing with any of our friends anymore.
Sort of, yes, but
It'd be a good tack.
to start at the beginning of that.
Sorry.
China, all right, so if you take, even if we're like 40% of their
Like I said, I
Gross.
just used to, I don't, hold on. Full disclaimer, don't know if those are the exact numbers. Don't go fucking crazy, internet.
Right.
Fact check. I just said, just using stupid numbers.
right, but even if that was like 40%, even if it was 10%, all right?
And the rest of the world, the other 900 countries.
Remember a couple of years ago when we talked about Saudi Arabia pulling out its finances within the United States, and that was 4% of the the net GDP of the United States
Yes.
was Saudi Arabia, 4%, and that would crash the economy.
Yeah.
4%. So even if China's export profit from the United States was 10%, that would cripple them. In regards to China doing business with all these other countries and everything, or wait, before that, you were talking about how like we're a huge consumer country, and a lot of them comes from China. And what a lot of people say, it's like, yeah, we're a consumer country, so if we don't do business with China, then China's like, well, that's gonna, or if we put tariffs on China and they raise prices, that's gonna hurt us. It's like, yes, but here's the thing: if you're going to a store and that store raises prices and you stop going there, who's gonna hurt more from that? You or the store?
Because you can always, because you could always go find it.
Yes, you can either find a different store, or you could just make whatever you were getting at the store, restaurant, whatever it is, yourself. The store is like, fuck, now we got to fill that void. Whereas you can go, I'm going to do this instead. Like, the store can't just easily shift direction and start doing things. That's where China finds himself right now. Because if the United States just stops, it's like, fine, we're not going to buy all this shit from you. Then they're going to go, fuck. Here's what's been happening in China, which I've started picking up on now that I've like actually looked into some of this stuff. Chinese companies have had an influx in the last 2 or 3 days of American companies, or Chinese distribution companies, of American companies calling them, being like, pause that order we just got, on a multitude of different things, from stupid shit like AirPods and phones and all that fucking bullshit, to cardboard boxes that they ship things in, to lumber, to you name it, just like, you know, goods and services. And now a lot of these companies are floundering real quick. Some of them are calling, there's people that are in interviews are saying these warehouses are calling them back into work to work on their off time to quickly get these shipments out, and then they're closing the doors of the warehouse the next day, which is the best way for business owners to not lose money. So what that shows the world is that China's infrastructure is a house of cards. So they have tons of money going in and out and in and out and in and out. But as soon as like that first ripple wave of oh shit comes in, the whole thing falls apart. The yuan just fell, I think, I don't know if I have the article, but the yuan just fell to the lowest it's been in 19 years or some shit like that. Yeah. So I think with these tariffs on China, I think this whole thing was specifically designed to focus on China. Trump put tariffs on all these other countries around the world and everything. A lot of them are allies, and a lot of people are like, why would you fucking do that? Because he's trying to make it fair for the United States. Because all these countries have been just raping the United States financially for decades.
Yeah.
And what's happened with a lot of these countries is he's raised these tariffs 25%, and there was a lot of kicking and screaming and everything for a while. But eventually, a lot of these countries have been like, okay, this is what we're going to do. And they've dropped tariffs. Like, a lot of them gone from 25 to 10% now.
Even less.
And and the market is starting to correct itself. And it's starting to bring a fair amount in, and saying, okay, instead of you charging us this, charge us this. And we will drop our tariff that we charge you to this. So it kind of evens out. And countries, our allies, are being like, okay, fair. We understand what you're doing. Fine. But then there's China. And when the world sees China falter and flounder like this and just hurt, a lot of them, and what China thought was going to happen too, that's why they beefed up their chest so much and be like, I'm going to kick myself in the dick harder than you. You know? And then they see...
And there's the
there's the Asian. And then what happens is the world goes, I think I'm going to side the United States right now. Because the rest of the world knows, just as much as China knows, and the United States, is that the United States is the, like, for better or worse, the financial center of the whole global economy. Like, that's why the USD is the
standard.
It's the trading standard, and it's the reserve currency. And, like, that's why it's been that way for decades. So, yeah, so because all these other countries came back to the table, like, Trump put a 90-day pause on a lot of the tariffs for them so they can renegotiate. And like I said before, Trump is a big-ass president. He runs the country like he runs a business. I want this. Whoa, what the fuck? Okay, how about this? Oh, that's better. And that's what he wanted to begin with. I mean, we've talked about it before.
Oh, yeah.
Here's the part where, like, I'm like, well, now hold the fuck on there. So I just read that Trump completely backpedaled on tariffs on, like, Apple phones, microchips, like, computer things, and, like, flat screen TVs. I'm like, why the fuck would you do that? Like, if you were doing it on medication stuff, I understand that. Would I be for it? Not really, because I think this is something that you got to, like, plant yourself and be like, no, not until you come to the table and we agree on something. But he, like, just suddenly was like, so I'm going to back everything off for this specific group, like electronics. I'm like, so unless he's playing 4D chess, which to this point he kind of has been, and the normal people are just like, what the fuck is he doing? Because that's pretty much what I've been doing the last 2 months. It's like, what the fuck is he doing? And he sees something that
we don't.
The rest of the people don't, which I'm sure he does. Like, it just seems crazy to me. Like, why electronics of all things? Like, are you making a move where if something happens and electronics get completely fucking taken out of the picture because of some trade war, the trade war with China, you're like, that won't hurt us that bad because we have this other option? But without knowing that, it just, to me, I'm like, why make yourself look weak almost for something fucking stupid? So I don't get that one.
It does raise the question.
Yeah, but Trump knows that.
Yeah, because now my head is kind of trying to spin, and it's like
Trump. That's a lot I just threw at you, but.
Well, no, like, why hyper focus on electronics?
Yeah, I know, but
that's one of the number one most. That's like the biggest money getter, I guess. No,
it's in everything.
Because how much food are we importing from China?
Food? I have no idea. I don't know. Like,
I guarantee you, electronic is the number one import from China to America.
Probably for some things, yeah. I mean, how many things in your? Here's the thing: how many things in your house? Here's another thing that would prove the point, like, of what I just ranted on. How many things in your house say made from China?
A lot.
Yeah. How many things in China do you think says made from America?
None.
Probably fucking none. Or as close to none as you can get. So if we pull out of China, there goes their cash flow. If China pulls out from ours, where are they going to go? Like, we'll just get it from somewhere else. Or
I was right.
Or what Trump's doing is trying to make it in the United States.
The largest category of U.S. imports from China in 2024 was electrical machinery and TV parts, accounting for 28% of total imports from China. This category includes smartphones, which alone represented a significant portion of U.S. imports from China. In fact, a report from the BBC states that the biggest category of U.S. imports from China is smartphones, representing 9% of the total.
All right. Here's
what does China import from the U.S.?
here's probably the biggest problem for China too, and this one goes beyond the trade war. This is the government specifically. So China strictly controls their media, like what is shown, what's put out there, what's shown to their people, and what's shown to outside. Everything that Xi Jinping says, it has to be aggressive or stern, kind of like how Trump and all them when they talk, because the Chinese people have to see Xi Jinping as a strong leader. So now if all these tariffs and everything are on them, and it shows, and China's starting to falter, now the CCP is put in a position, we can't go to the table and be like, okay, Trump, you're hurting us. We need to make a deal to stop the hurt in China, stop the bleeding, the financial bleeding. But if they do that, now Xi Jinping looks like he's weak.
Not really. Not if he came to the table and said, listen, Trump, I will suck your dick for this as long as we agree and you stop hurting my country. As long as he says it with authority, you can pretty much say, put it in my butt. People are going to be like, he's so aggressive. He's a powerful man. He's so powerful. He's making him put it in his butt.
I mean, maybe. But
it's all about deliverance.
Yeah, if he negotiates, he looks weak to the countrymen. But if he doesn't negotiate, he's killing his country. I mean, not to the point where they hurt, because in his eyes, I'm sure it's like if there's not some red in the country, no pun intended. But if there's not some red in the country, then they're going to be too comfortable. And then you're going to get like the Chinese Revolution and everything that they had, like how many fucking years ago it was.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I remember.
So it's like, what do they do? Does he negotiate and save his country? Because, I mean, it's communism. It's going to fucking die eventually. He's done well keeping it going, but...
Well, I don't know. It's kind of sidetracking a little bit here. I understand capitalism.
Capitalism's rough.
It works for our country.
It works. It's rough. But it's really, I guess, all in the people. Like, if your people are beaten down and broken, communism will be fine.
I don't think...
But
I know Charlie Kirk is a very big advocate against communism.
Right.
But are there countries... I guess the best way to get a good idea on how one feels about communism is find successful communist countries. And you can't say none exist. I'm not saying I'm not saying yay, let's go communism. I'm just saying it's like
there are successful communist leaders. I don't think there are successful communist countries.
Okay,
but I think that's two different things.
No,
because if you look at Russia and you're like, well, I mean, the USSR already fell. So there's that one superpower. Now they're raising in power. Like, they're nowhere near what they used to be. Granted, they'll beat their chest like they are, but they're not. And then there's China, you ever hear like the empty China theory? Like, China is just one giant empty country and there's not 1.5 billion people there. It's more like 300 million, or maybe even less, like 100 million.
Like most men about their penis size.
Yeah. It's like storefront. It's like, oh, it's all in storefront. Then you go inside and you're like, where the fuck is everything? Like modern women in the day. Yeah. Exactly.
The fat Chinese kid.
I was gonna say modern women in the dating pool. Look at everything I got, and you go inside. It's a fucking department store that just looks like the back rooms.
Studio apartment with nothing but a fucking.
No, it just looks like the back rooms. Like, hey, where'd the door go? Get me the fuck out of here. You're trapped.
I'm pregnant, bitch.
What's your real name? Karen. Ah.
Oh, my name's Karen. You're really a dude. I think I was catfished.
Ah.
I didn't say noodle me.
Oh, I can still talk. They got the wrong end.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Fuck it.
So, how do you think this will all end up?
In all honesty, no. In all honesty, I'll stick by what I said. I genuinely feel it won't be an overnight fix. I think it might be a few good years before we start to see the growth. And the problem, I think the biggest problem we're going to run into is you got the never Trumpers who, no matter what, they'll be the ones, and you'll know who I'm talking about when you see them, people. You as well, dude. These will be the people, that will drive their brand new purchased car with their brand new purchased outfit because they have stupid money to spend to the protest with the biggest, most illustrious, handmade design, cardboard poster cutout.
Handmade or handmade?
Whatever. Take it how you want. Homemade, cardboard poster cutout. Tariffs are bad. Didn't you last week, weren't you filing for bankruptcy? Yeah, but, my job's been paying me a lot extra, and everything I'm buying is cheaper, but tariffs are still bad, so I was able to afford to buy this new sign. Wait, so because you're gaining, because of the way the economy... Because tariffs are bad. Okay. Won't be an overnight thing. I'm in support of the tariffs. I have been from the beginning because at the core value of it all, like you said earlier in the big rant, so many other countries have been doing nothing but take and take and take and take. Mm-hmm. There are plenty of countries out there I'm sure that we've done business with that have been like, hey, look, we're trying to be as fair as possible. But too many of these countries have been like, hey, look, screw it. Give them, like the old adage goes, give them an inch, they'll take a mile. And as long as no one's feelings are hurt, I'm going to keep doing it. Well, now someone's feelings are hurt, and now it's, okay, well, I better stop. And it's working out.
Yeah, and it's not even like give an inch, take a mile. Like some of the, adjust my seat. There we go. Some of the tariffs that China had on us is like 300% on some things, and that's not being hyperbolic. Those are fucking actual
numbers. I know.
I know. Like 300%. It's like, what the fuck?
And that's just it. It's not fair for someone to make all the money off of us, and then when we go to buy stuff, and when we go to sell them stuff, here's pennies on the dollar.
Right. Like, case in point, I know, this is for shipping from country to country. When I was in, the height of belt making, some of my dealers from overseas, for plates and stuff, they would do leather, too. I would do my own leather here because everyone wants American-made leather over here, so I would just get the plates and do the leather here and sell it outright from here. But they would do belts over there. Thing is they couldn't get, leather tools over there. So I'm like, all right. I'll buy them and I'll send them to you because they always give me deals on plates and shit. To have a set of plates sent over here cost me $220, for the plates, shipped everything. I bought a set of 20 leathering tools and sent it over there. $150 fucking dollars for 20 of those fucking that fit in one of those manila padded envelopes like that. Mm-hmm. The difference in shipping from US across seas to US is fucking astronomical. It's crazy. I'm like, what the fuck? I just sent you a pack of pens basically. And it was $150 fucking dollars.
But that's what I'm saying. And we had to charge, America had to charge that much to ship it because in order for them to make the money they needed to operate, they had to upsell.
Right.
They had to upcharge, not upsell, upcharge. They had to upcharge. But the amount of money their government is charging or their shipping, or their economy is working, it's pennies on the dollar, and they get all that profit.
Yeah, they do. They get massive amounts of profit, which is why they operate the way they do over there. And another thing, too, that's China, United States has to follow a shit ton of rules. There's IP rules. Mm-hmm. You can't rip off somebody else. China doesn't have to do any of that shit. You come up with an idea, you put it out there. China takes it, rips it off, maybe tweaks something in it, maybe just rip it off outright, and then they turn around and sell it for just a fraction less than you do, and they fucking blow you out of the water, and then could eventually just overtake your business from whatever idea that you got. And it's completely fine over there.
Yeah.
We have to compete with that. And then on top of that, they're tariffing us like fucking crazy. And as soon as the United States goes, how about you start paying a little bit back? The whole world's like, what do you mean? It's like you have a fucking kid living in your house. And it's one of your kids. And they're 30. And you're still giving them $5 a day to go fucking do something. And then finally you go, hey, maybe I won't even stop giving you money, but I'll just give you a couple dollars a day. How the fuck am I supposed to live on all this, Dad? What the fuck? They're gonna make me do my own taxes too? Oh.
That's like a person I used to know. I used to live near him. This chick one day complained about, she was on assistance. This chick, I was hanging out with my one friend, and we're having a few drinks, and the girl that lived next to both of us comes over and starts talking to his girl, and she's all upset, and what's going on? Oh, her assistance was down adjusted from like $3,000 a month to like $2,700, and she's not sure how she's gonna get by with it now.
27.
I don't remember the exact numbers, but I know it was fucking ridiculous. I literally looked at them and I go, I make less than that with a job.
Yeah.
And I don't qualify for assistance.
Well, that's the same thing as like COVID when they're doing that bullshit. There's people that weren't working, not even out of work because of, but just weren't working, and were bringing home more than I was working down at Golub.
Oh yeah.
What the fuck?
It's fucking ridiculous.
I can't go. It's like, I've worked this whole goddamn pandemic, and you what?
I did too. I didn't get no fucking work from home days.
No. Didn't get anything. I didn't even get a fucking thank you.
I didn't.
But, no, so going all the way back to fucking Trump exempts phones, computer chips, blah, blah, blah. So smartphones, computers will be exempted from Trump's reciprocal tariffs. 145% tariff. Okay, President Donald Trump exempted smartphones, computers, and other tech devices and computers components from his reciprocal tariffs. New guidance from the U.S. Customs and Border Protection shows the guidance issued late Friday evening comes after Trump earlier this month imposed a 145% tariff on products from China, a move that threatened to take a toll on tech giants like Apple, which make iPhones and most of their products in China. See, there again, like, they take advantage of the Chinese slave shops. So, I mean, this is like, I guess this is an argument that started way at the beginning of this tariff thing. Like, one of the reasons, like, this was one of the catalysts that got the whole thing started, is everything's produced so cheap over there and then sold back to us at a ridiculous rate. But then we try to push something over there. Here's another one. There are so many businesses and members of the Chinese party that come over here freely.
Yeah.
And there's barely any restrictions on them. You can't fucking get anything America over in China. There's, once again, something that's like, what the fuck? Like, there's no competition there.
Yeah, we let you come in and basically swing your dick around.
Right.
But if you someone just go over there and even touch your belt buckle, it's nope, stop it.
The guidance also includes exclusions from other electronic devices and components, including semiconductors, solar cells, flat panel TV displays, flash drives, and memory cards. The White House said on Saturday that exemptions were made because Trump wants to ensure that companies have time to move production to the U.S. Okay, so that makes sense. So
there's a punchline in the joke.
Okay, yeah. So that would make sense. Again, that goes back to the original reason why they're doing all these things. It's like, we're trying to bring all these investments back to the United States to create jobs. I guess that makes sense. Well, shit, yeah, duh. The White House Deputy Press Secretary Kush Desai said in a statement that Trump has made it clear America can not rely on China to manufacture critical technologies such as semiconductors, chips, smartphones, and laptops. So there's a fucking method to the madness. Listen, if they're controlling all this shit and they suddenly stop it, we're fucked.
Well,
so let's bring it back here.
So here's the thing. It's funny that you say that too, because someone I had spoken to before, one of my trucker friends, he goes, he made the comment. He goes, but what's it supposed to do with bringing the work back here when we're paying $15 to $18 an hour for minimum wage? I'm like, but that's just the thing. Our cost of living is based on the import-export costs. Everything that comes in, everything that's manufactured here. He's like, yeah, but things made in America are so much more expensive. Yes, because getting a lot of the stuff, it's easier to get the stuff cheap from across the seas, and then you got to pay your labor force over here, which is $15 an hour. But if, let's say, a business creates a hat, and it costs 50 cents to make that hat, it charges its employees 55 cents, but it charges everyone on the street $1. The people that work for that place that need that hat, they pay them a quarter less an hour than they do everyone else because they're getting their product at a severely discounted rate because it's made in America and distributed in America. I go, my thought process is if they bring a lot of the work back to America, eventually, when they realize the cost of the work, the cost of the supplies, the cost of the production will start to drop because it's here. It doesn't have to go across seas. We don't have to pay all these crazy amount of taxes to get it into another country. It's literally going from warehouse to a mile down the road, brick and mortar store. Mm-hmm. Or not even. It's going from warehouse to backroom.com shit. I go, now, let's say they want to make a 50% profit on this product that cost them $2 to make. Now, instead of paying all those extra taxes to ship it, they only got to pay the trucker or the mail carrier X amount of dollars. They can now cut that price in half because they're still making that 50% profit.
Right. Plus, then you factor in now we're exporting all these things instead of just buying them outright. Instead of having the supplies, sending it overseas, having it manufactured there, and then buying it back.
Yeah.
At the direction of the president, these companies are hustling to onshore their manufacturing in the United States as soon as possible. Oh, so that's good.
Yeah.
The 20 product categories listed in the CBP guidelines are apparently exempt from the 125% tariff imposed by Trump on Chinese imports and the 10% baseline tariff on imports from other countries. A 20% tariff on all Chinese goods remains in effect. So they just dropped 105% on their tariffs. So there's still tariffs, but on those few things, because they're trying to push those vital things, which you said when we looked up earlier, is like one of the biggest exports from China to the United States. So that would make sense. Okay, so it's not even 4D chess. He just like directly is like, no, this is a huge thing. We need to make it here. We can't be that reliant on China because it's just not good for us.
No.
Especially when China fucking hates us. So it's like, hey, he's like, can I have a it's like, geez, fine.
Yeah, a cup of sugar. Here's the sugar.
Thanks. It's not moving.
Like Kim has.
Spam. Why is it jiggly?
And salty.
Yeah, do you want No one does. That's why
sugar.
Oh, jeez.
Honey sweetened ham.
He added the tariffs have been a black cloud over tech since the day of liberation because it was going to be more hurt than big tech. Yeah, so there's oh, that's right. The day since Trump's tariff announcement, Apple lost over $640 billion in market value. The cost of the iPhone under Trump's tariff plan would have ballooned as high as $3,500. If you were willing to spend $3,500 on a fucking iPhone,
people are dumb enough.
You need to have your head examined.
There are people like, I gotta have the next iPhone.
I am like, I see the price of like phones like this. This I think was $800, and to me it's like, what the flying fuck? Like I thought $800 was psychotic.
Yeah.
But I saw like the new iPhones out there. Like I just saw numbers before you got here. It was like, well, the iPhone is going to go from like $1,200 a phone. I'm like, what the fuck? And then they ballooned it up to $2,500. I'm like, that's crazy. Now they're saying $3,500. I'm like, you.
But there are people that
I
want
know.
it.
Well, case in point, you remember when they initially said that TikTok was going to be no more? It's still fucking here. But then you go on like eBay and you look, there's an Android or an iPhone with TikTok on it.
$5,000.
5?
No, they went up there. There
was one that sold for fucking, like, it was $1 million something. It was like $1,500,000. Like, it was crazy. $50,000, $100,000. And these were phones that were sold, not the ones that were listed, the ones that sold.
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy.
You are not kidding.
So, no,
Ridiculous.
there's people that would buy a $3,500 brand new phone.
Yep, because somebody was dumb enough to spend $50,000 for a phone with an app on it.
But that's because TikTok's on it. Like, what? Like, who's got that kind of stupid money? And that the thing is probably, I mean, for the $1 million one, that was one thing. But those other phones that were like, oh, this one sold for $10,000. I bet you it was someone that works at like Kenny Shoes or something. Like, oh, that's my life savings, but I need TikTok. That's a good deal. So I see all these other ones sold for tens of thousands of dollars.
Jesus.
You know. Oh, jeez. Yeah, so that's what I got so far out of the tariffs and everything. I don't.
No, that makes. I can. Yeah.
I put a note down here, just talking about the death of DEI, which is pretty much all but gone now at this point. I think.
I think it's hilarious how people are going after that like a wild animal.
How so?
Oh, you can't get rid of DEI. That's ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
Because there was one video I saw of Charlie Kirk. He goes, you're against black. You made the comment about, if I see a black pilot, I'm like, is he qualified to fly this plane? He goes, that's kind of racist. He goes, no, it's not. He goes, well, explain. The guy's like, he goes, well, in the context of what you said, he goes, yeah, God, read the whole thing. He goes, well, what I'm trying to get at is, no, read the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, fine, if you're not going to do it, I'm going to do it. He talks about how, like, the standards for a DEI hire for a pilot, they wanted like 50% of their workforce to be black or female.
Yeah, right.
And
check your boxes.
They laxed the standards, which means you needed lower test scores, lower flight, whatever.
Yeah.
You had to question, was this person a capable pilot?
Yeah, like a year ago, would they be here?
No.
Right. Just, yeah.
And he goes, yeah, but right there, you prove him. He goes, no, all right, so how about this? How about the NBA? Predominantly black. Goes 50% white. With the quality of the game decreases. Well, now you're comparing NBA with pilots. No, answer my question. He's like, no. He goes, yes, it would. Because predominantly, Charlie Kirk said it, he goes, blacks are better at basketball than whites. It's just inherent. And he goes, so if you force anything to allow subpar into it, it decreases the quality of the effect.
Right.
The end game.
And that in and of itself, DEI in and of itself is racist.
Yeah.
Like there's you can't logically look at something and subjectively look at something and go, or rather objectively look at something and go, well, no, it's not, because it just is. Like there's
as unfair as it would be. You know what? I'm going to spin something your way. Tell me what you think. I could back DEI if there was a standard requirement. So if you had a white male with, let's say, a 4.0 GPA trying to get into Harvard Law, you had a black male with a 4.0 GPA. Now, they both took the same courses. They both qualify. They both test. They're both intelligent. And then you had a white or a female Indian with a 4.0 GPA.
Okay.
They all took the exact same steps. They all are perfectly equal candidates.
Okay.
There's no lax standards that help that girl get up to a 4.0 or less requirements to help that black guy to get to a 4.0. No, they all went through the same hoops. They are all perfectly even. The only way I could support a DEI hire is if that's what we were looking at.
But that would be racist still.
The reason I say I could support it is because let's say you wanted some diversity.
Right.
Okay, we want to hire we're looking for a black gentleman. We have 500 candidates, predominantly white, female, Hispanic, but we're looking for a black candidate. We have no capable black candidates to fill that position. Okay, well then we're going to go to the next one, the Hispanics. Okay, we have no one who meets that standard. Now we're going to the females. So it would still give that white gentleman or white female that chance if there was no other possible person who met those standards.
But don't you? If you put that argument 70 years ago in the 50s and just flip that race card there, that's exactly what was the issue. I mean, minus like all the riots and everything else and like the protests and whatnot, protests. But you're saying this group of people, like, I don't give a shit like it's white, whatever. You're saying
white,
this group
black,
of
Hispanic,
yeah,
Jewish,
I don't whoever it is, this group of people, we're gonna put here, and if there's not any of these other groups of people, then we'll take that group of of whatever. So whether it's white, it's black, it's whoever. If you have this checklist that you go down and be like, and we want this, this, and this, and if we don't have this, then we'll choose you. Like whether they're like even, not even, whatever it is, like that's still a system of racism. That's still a bigoted system, and that what I thought, like what the left is claiming, is they want to get away from that. Well, getting away from that entails that you get away from that. So if you're just flipping it around, you're not doing anything other than flipping around your colors of what you're going to pick last in gym class or whatever the fuck. You know what I mean? So I understand what you're saying, but that still is exactly the problem with DEI. Is you're just taking this racist system and being like, well, we're going to do this. It ain't racist anymore. It's like, well, yeah, it is. All you did is switch the fucking colors around. No, we didn't. I was like, well, yeah, you did.
But no, what I'm saying is the only way, okay, maybe I said it wrong. The only way I could get behind a DEI hire is if they met the standards. If they went through the whole black...
But that's not DEI then. That's just seeing, hey, I like this person the way they interviewed.
No. Here's what I mean. Like, okay, so, you know what? The first come, first serve basis. Okay. Now imagine that where, okay, look, we're looking for a black, we're going to bring in all these applicants.
But that's the point. You don't look for a black anything. There shouldn't be looking for a black...
I agree that...
at all.
Okay, that's where I'm saying it wrong. I agree. There should be no basis of color, ethnicity, or gender. There shouldn't be.
No,
Keyword, there shouldn't be. But if a business chose, look, we want a black face to represent our company, but we are willing to settle for anybody who meets the qualifications. We would prefer this.
But that's where my argument is you're...
I'm not saying I support it. I'm saying that's the only way I could get behind it. If you preferred to hire a black person, but this white dude comes in and blows out all the black competition, okay, well then we're going to go with the white guy. Because he gives us what we need. We wanted a black guy, but the white guy brought everything we needed. Or vice versa. We wanted a female and not a male. Or we wanted a Jew or Hispanic. We wanted this, but no one fitting that category gave us what we wanted, so we'll take the most qualified from this other group.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Like I'm not missing your point, but what I'm saying is the whole like Charlie Kirk argument and everything, that whole argument is that group, the group talk, shouldn't even be in.
And
I feel like that's like it's the libertarian argument from 15 years ago. Like, why are we looking at skin color? How did that become like the quintessential?
Do not forget what you just said. Skin color,
right?
Please.
Like, how did that become the quintessential right wing argument? Now it's like what like Charlie Kirk and all of them say is there shouldn't be. We're looking for this black person to like. Oh, these candidates are great. It's like there shouldn't be that at all. Like that talk at all. It should just
agree.
Who's the best for the job.
I agree, but if someone decided to make their basis of a decision, if someone decided to make the decision, if someone decided that this was the reason they wanted to make their decision, as long as they met the qualifications, there needs to be a standard. If you want to do it, be my guest, because when it comes to marketing, let's be honest. Are you going to advertise a beard shaving kit for women? No.
Wow.
So are you gonna have Salma Hayek? Yeah, I love this beard oil. No,
I would buy the beard oil.
I'm just saying, Dick, and you know what I'm getting at. Yes. You need a demographic. You want to appeal.
Selma likes it.
You want to appeal to a demographic. You need that. You need that image.
Right.
You want to.
Well, now we're okay. So now we're going off on a different tangent, which I'm glad you brought this up.
Well, hold on. Before I forget. Keep that in your mind.
Okay.
So the other day, me and the big one,
right,
were chilling, and there was a TikTok video about a new Carmen Sandiego game, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. I missed the show. And the big one goes, what do you mean? I go, oh my God, I failed as a parent. I failed. I go, there was an amazing show.
A cartoon.
No, it was a show.
You're talking about the show, the
game show.
Yeah.
There was the game show way before. I'm like, it was fucking amazing. The first episode that you find on YouTube, there's a white kid from the fucking fields of Idaho who probably just got plucked off the farm because he fits blonde hair, blue eyeglasses. I'm a potato farmer. I'm a blood American. Then you got what looks like a Latin kid, Latin girl, and then what looks like a Middle Eastern boy. They're all between the ages of 12 and 14, I want to say. And he goes, I go, what? He goes, and isn't the, like, wait, hold on. We're watching. I'm like, what the hell's going on with this guy? And then the main woman in the office was a black woman. She was the head of the agency, basically. Mm-hmm. He's like, what the fuck are people bitching about nowadays? I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, inclusivity. I go, inclusiveness. He goes, yeah. He goes, people were saying there's none. What the fuck? I go, yeah, that's the shit I grew up with. Because back then, it didn't matter. There wasn't gender. There wasn't race. It was, we're going to grab these fucking kids because they're the smartest. And they just happened to span the different colors in the different countries.
What did I say last week? I think it was last week. We had an episode. Or no, it was one of those fucking last episodes where I was like, no, this group just needs something to fucking rally against. Yeah.
You had a black woman in a position of power.
It's a constant revolution.
Yeah. You had a black woman in a position of power. You had the three main contestants, and the girl won. The Latin girl won. The white dude was pushed down. But I'm just saying, like, he's like, what are people bitching about nowadays? I go, I don't fucking know, dude. This is why when you ask someone from my generation, our generation,
right, do
you see color? No, we don't see color because we grew up with every fucking shade of the rainbow,
right,
in our faces,
right. But like when you're saying being the face of something, or like a company or a team or whatever it is, like or Hollywood, that's all like Hollywood kind of stuff. That's all like Billboard kind of stuff. That is a whole different beast. Like that, it has nothing to do with like, well, their qualifications are good in doing this and that and the other thing, so we're gonna have an Asian Pocahontas. Well, that doesn't fucking make sense now.
No, it don't.
Now we're going off. See, this is where the DEI thing gets fucking strewn and just goes way off the tracks. Because now we got things like all these. What's the joke where you see like it's a meme where you see like the Irish Redhead Festival and then it says the Disney remake and it's all fucking black people. Like, but that's the point. Is like they're Hollywood.
See now, but in that instance, a tech company. Okay. We'll use a tech company. We'll get Hollywood out of the picture. Do you want Pauly Shore spinning specs, or do you want someone who looks like Stephen Hawkins?
I don't care who it looks like. I care what the fuck they do. I care how they do the job. I don't give a shit if fucking Stephen Hawking rolls through that door or Pauly Shore. What's up, buddy?
But that's what I'm saying.
I don't give a shit how they talk, what they look like. What I care how they do the job.
And I agree with you 1,000%. I just, if it was your preference to, I guess, market people who are only good with who are artistically amazing with their hands, and you got someone who looks like they
Not Steven.
And we offended the crippled people.
I had to get one in there.
So, okay, you don't know me. You don't. I have calloused hands and everything. I want to come in and be your stencil artist for your leatherworking business. Here I am. I got bruised knuckles. I got calluses all over my hands. I'm lumbering around the interview. I'm lumbering around the office space. Are you going to look at me and go, I still want to see how he does? Or are you going to look at me, human instinctive, you can try to deny it all you want.
My instinct, I already, right where you're going, I already knew it. I want to see your portfolio. What have you done?
Then you're better than most.
Maybe.
I feel the same way.
But that's also small business.
Unfortunately, in the grand scope of humanity, the human brain isn't trained to think,
no,
what can you bring to the table?
It's not the human brain. This is what I do know. For small business, that's the way I would respond. For a massive business, I don't have fucking time for your portfolio. I don't have time. How are you going to respond? Like, that's stuff that you would send in before, and someone else would look through it and be like, okay, this one would pass. And then I would come in, being like the big boss. You'd sit here, and I already know that your work would be passable enough. So if you come in after that, lumbering around, doing everything, you obviously don't take this job seriously because you don't have even the slightest inclination in you to dress yourself up a little bit and fucking use deodorant, put that on, brush your fucking teeth and all that shit. So if you can't do that, how are you going to get to work on time? How are you going to take the job seriously if you can't even sit down with the highest up seriously? That's the way I would approach it as a business owner on a large scale business, because there's many other steps before that. Now, if we were just sitting here in like my small studio and you just come in and you're like, well, I'm good. I'd be like, okay, what do you got? And you show me stuff. I'm like, fuck, man, that's immaculate. Like how can we work together? Or like, when can you start? Or whatever the fuck. But if you come in here dressed all nice in a suit and tie.
He offered me a job.
If you come in dressed up in a suit and tie, and then you show me a portfolio of fucking smiley faces, and one of them's missing an eye or some shit, it's like, you're fucking. So.
And now we offended the mentally capable people.
But like, that's. I don't even remember how we got on that. But that's, as far as like that, like.
It started from, because I worded it wrong. I understand what you're saying. I agree 1,000%. Unfortunately, I can't speak for the rest of the world. You can't speak for the rest of the world. So if somebody wants to come to you and says, look, I wanted this, I hired based on that. Okay, well, explain to me why you did. Well, because it fit it checked all the boxes. Okay, well, it's one of those boxes, the highest quality of standard that you wanted for this development. Right. Yes. Okay, then so be it. That's your decision. Right. If it's not, well, then now you're a fucking retard because all you wanted to do was check a box and have a nice day. Fuck off. I can't respect your opinion.
But man, the hard R has come back in full swing. Not even like this show tonight, but just in general throughout everything. It's back everywhere.
Are you a 73?
A what? Oh. Is that one of those fucking numbers pop above your head? It's like, what are you? A 93?
No.
Like one of those?
Most. I'm not asking you. It'd be something I would ask somebody that came across in that general scope of appearance. So 75, an IQ of 75 and lower than 75 is considered mentally challenged. Or
is it 75? I thought it was 80, but
no,
maybe not.
They've lowered it.
They've lowered everyone's test scores. Jeez.
Well, yeah, Phelan's not isn't below a 65 anymore.
No,
It's like 55.
Yeah.
So as long as you're above a 55, you're passing.
And here's the thing, too. They don't give grades lower than 50.
Where the fuck were you when I was in school, assholes?
But yeah,
I had to struggle for 75 to 80.
they don't give grades lower than 50 anymore. But now they're dropping the IQ scores, too. It's like, well, that's why
Eventually it'd be below a 60 in order to be a mentally challenged person.
Now you can get those. Fuck yeah, your IQ could match your age, and you'll be like, well, he's passable, I guess. I'm only 20, but now like that's why those like videos on Facebook or whatever is like those IQ test apps or whatever, and it has like a family of 3 or 4. Like, what are you? And, like the guy's dancing like this, and then the number 91 pops up, and you're like, I would think anyway, most people, but maybe I'm wrong, but it'd be like, that's fucking. I think that's low. That's fucking low. Why is he celebrating that?
Yeah.
And then like the mother's like 75. It's like,
And then you have the kid in the chair.
72.
194.
Oh, but that's the way it would be. But like you see all the numbers and like they range.
Boy, that guy's chair
like
needs some fucking oil.
It doesn't need oil. It needs to get off the gravel. but why is there gravel in the kitchen anyway? But like the numbers.
What he eats for lunch. After the paint chips we feed him. After the paint chips we feed him stones.
This video
It helps him pass his.
This video's informative, but fucking immensely offensive.
Ah, yes. But that's a DEI podcast if I ever heard one.
Yeah. But, yeah, those numbers range from like 89 to 97 or something. Like, they're all low. Like, I remember they used to say, oh, the average IQ is 110. Why are they celebrating 90?
Thank God I've always been an average person.
You know who benefits the most
Average
from
skin color, average dick length, maybe a little bit below average. Intelligence-wise, not dick length.
I don't know if that's a flex.
Like I always say, I'm black from the waist up. Go ahead, left. Go ahead, call me on it. I identify as a black from the waist up person.
So, experts reveal who benefits most from DEI. Hint: white women. But there's so much more. Say, being...
I'm curious.
Okay. So, evidently, white women and Asian people are the 2 top groups who have gained the most, yet black people remain the face of it. How did we get here,
They're
you
being
ask?
oppressed and
Right?
they're smiling while they're doing it. Holy shit.
I think that we're the face of it because DEI came out of affirmative action. And affirmative action was about black people specifically, Crockett said.
Jiminy Crockett?
No.
Oh, it's worth a guess.
Oh. Jasmine Crockett.
Jiminy.
The
Shut up.
Texas rep.
Jiminy.
Yeah.
Jiminy Cricket.
We were always the intended target to benefit, but the way most policies are written, people learned how to game the system. Political commentator Reese Colbert seconds Crockett's point. She said to The Root that this narrative is being pushed strategically. The false notion that black people are the primary beneficiaries of DEI, despite evidence on the contrary, has fueled irrational hostility. Often from those who benefit most, Colbert said. She also insisted that DEI has become a catch-all for undergoing policies that have helped the black community. Who gets all the DEI jobs? Ironically, most DEI leadership roles are occupied by white folks. The job search site Zippia published a separate report that showed 76% of chief diversity officials roles were held by white people, and 54% were held by women. Data shows that the most notable recipients of affirmative action programs in the workplace are white women. A Forbes report revealed that white women hold nearly 19% of all C-suite positions, while women of color hold a meager 4%. When you add the fact that black women are the most educated of all groups, this makes even less sense. Still, Trump has gotten rid of government employees who worked on DEI programs, cut federal funding of schools that use racial preferences as a factor in admissions and financial aid, and banned the use of race or sex-based preferences in the military. Companies that promote white women to leadership positions are usually praised for advancing inclusivity, even when black people aren't offered the same opportunities. Yes, thanks for helping me. Yes, I'll take that in the hundreds. The result of the practice is startling. A McKinsey study estimated that it would take nearly 48 years for women of color to achieve gender parity, while it would only take white women 22 years to achieve this. To the extent which DEI efforts have helped, white women have been the biggest gains in the workplace as a result of affirmative action and diversity programs. So it's like it's like the Karens out there be like, we're gonna go to fight for you. And how many fucking videos have you watched? Have I sent you? Have been out there in fucking social media land of you watching like these protests and DEI affirmative action protests and everything? And it's like white women, boomers, and millennials, our fucking generation, going out and fighting for all the equal rights to all these colored folk and all this and that and the other thing. And it's like, there's a few black people out there, but it's mostly white women.
All I heard from all of that was white people are better than black people at something.
And race.
Oh my God.
Offended.
I gotta
Final check.
I gotta censor so much shit in this episode.
Yeah, you can have a late night tonight, buddy.
No, I'll do it tomorrow.
Jeez.
Yeah, so black women.
all I want to see the podcast when it's posted. Every time we start saying something offensive.
I was just gonna cut it to that like technical difficulties.
No. While we're talking, thank you for being a friend. Something travel back around the world again. Your heart is true. And like we were saying, this is the 10 minutes later. You're a pal and a confidant. And while you're hearing me and you, but you're seeing this. And if you threw a party and invited everyone you knew.
McKinsey also published a separate report proved that companies with more diverse teams are 35% more likely to have financial returns above the average or the industry average. His followers have justified Trump's actions using the enormous pretense that black and brown people are rewarded for inclusion policies.
Got it.
The most, a claim that is simply untrue. So it's almost like Trump kind of has an idea of what he's doing. So if we go all the way back to the beginning with tariffs and everything else, and everyone's screaming on the left and all CNN and ABC, and yeah, he knows what he's doing. Speaking of CNN, I saw this earlier. I started watching it. I was like, you fucking... There's a documentary, I guess, coming out this Sunday. I think tomorrow. Of CNN investigating the rise in extremism. Right extremism, okay? And immediately it focuses on January 6th. And I watched it, and the first thing I thought was like, wait, CNN is going to do a documentary on the rise of extremism.
Of right extremism.
Just extremism in general. CNN, the one who pushed like the vaccine bullshit, the mandate bullshit. Remember the video of Joe Rogan like discolored and all this stuff, and pushing all the mostly peaceful protests and all that stuff, is pushing this really a bullshit piece on the rise of right-wing extremism, and immediately in the video they go right to January 6th. Because that's the only thing they have is January 6th. It's funny you can wave a American flag and, well, that's extremist, that's racism. But you firebomb a Tesla, and that's mostly peaceful protests. Summer of Love, Mark II.
Oh God.
But CNN's coming out with that. I was like, well, this should be a good one to fucking watch and comment on. So,
If I can't masturbate to it, I ain't watching it.
oh, jeez. Never. So I went and watched the Minecraft movie.
Good movie.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
Yeah.
It was better than I thought it was going to
Oh,
be.
absolutely.
So
my expectations were not.
I had
altered.
zero. Jack Black I was kind of sick of.
I don't know.
And-
I think Jack Black, as of late, I can when I hear Jack Black's name go on something, like, this is probably going to be good.
I don't know. I just got sick of him, I guess. And I think really the one that made it for me was Jason Momoa. Like his character, and it was like perfect. But
Jason Momoa, another thing too. I don't even like a lot of DC movies, but Aquaman 1 and 2 were not.
I didn't really.
They weren't good.
It was his character, and that was like this fucking great. This is hilarious. Yeah, it wasn't bad though. Definitely. Was he a DEI?
I don't know, but I could say.
Well, he's a black woman.
I was high on life in that movie, watching that movie.
Oh, the fucking game's awesome.
Yes, it is.
I haven't played it in a couple days, but the game's hilarious. Maybe I'll.
Did you play Power Wash Simulator?
What one?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
No, that's not mine. Like I tried it to set it up, but I was like,
It's one of those
I mean-
ASMR games for me.
I just farm ruins if I do something like that.
No, not Minecraft. Power Wash Simulator.
Yeah, but if I want ASMR, just like mindless something, I farm ruins.
Okay.
Which I started that. The new game again.
Plus.
4 plus 4. And I beat fucking Radon. Was it-
Consort.
Yeah, Consort Radon, the young
Yeah, you
lion.
told me.
Fucking ridiculous. Holy shit.
Jesus.
So, and that was on +3. So now I'm going to do it again. I just got to the Mogwin Dynasty. Did the quick travel there so I could get the farming spot again. And all I got to do is go beat Mog and then go back to the DLC. Because there's an incantation I missed, and a couple weapons, and a couple sorceries. And I started doing a lot of PvP. And there's a couple of those sorceries. I'm like, that'll be useful. So I'm starting to understand the PvP in Elden Ring now, or Souls rather. And a lot of like chaining sorceries together to throw off time. It's like pitching in baseball. It's the way I describe it. It's like throw off timing. Because if you just telegraph physical attacks, those are easy to roll through, more or less. But if you're throwing out different sorceries at different speeds, like small or like fast and a quick one, and then another slow one, and then chasing your sorcery to run through it to attack physical, like you just throw them off. And there's a couple of good ones out there. I was like, I gotta get that. But yeah, anyway, so I'm gonna do that. Whatever. Minecraft and Tariffs, whatever. Bye.
Bye. Offensive, everybody.